So, now you know that Bloom taxonomy and instructional objective. Now, I come to that our business, that we said that every course outcome must be written in form of instructional objective, so that it is specific, measurable and achievable, and the level of cognitive domains level I can determine from the measurable action verb. Okay. Now, that information I know. What I said that in 21st century education structures, what should be the structure we have explained, and how it will be useful also I have explained. Now, I come details of this, because now you understand what is ISD. Now, you can specifically look at here why I have to write down every course outcome in term of measurable, specific, achievable manner. So, if you see, yes, NBA documents and Washington Accords, all if you see the document structure is like this way: mission, vision statement, program, educational outcome. So, I explain one by one why it is required, and why it is made, and how it is made, and why it is required, what are the different kind of things, all kind of things we will explain. So, what is there? If you see the academic institute, every institute has an mission and vision. Every institute has an mission and vision. So, institute A has write down his mission and vision. Based on what? Based on available infrastructure, available resources, and their intention to produce students. So, if institute A want to produce students for high end research, like let us in India IIT, or you can say that MIT, they try to produce a student who will take care about the cutting edge research. So, mission and vision statement of institute A should satisfy that criteria. Now, if institute A want to produce a student to supply manpower for a specific industry, so group of industry. So, I am not producing the students which are doing high end research, but I am saying that I am producing learner, or I am producing the student who will able to work in different company of kind A, kind B, kind C, kind C. So, then my mission and vision will be different. So, mission and vision statement, right now if you go to any institute, everybody write a good English with a good words, and same mission and vision statement if you go across the institute is same, but where the purpose is not same. Mission and vision statement is state that the institute A what kind of student produce based on his resources, infrastructure and intakes of the students. Now, to meet the mission and vision, how I will meet the mission and vision statement? If I say I want to produce a cutting edge researcher in mechanical engineering, mechanical, chemical and civil, if I say civil, mechanical, chemical and civil, then I should, institute A should offer a program on mechanical, on chemical and on civil. And the program educational objective PEO of mechanical engineering must be related to cutting edge high end research on mechanical engineering. So, program educational objective of Institute A mechanical department to produce a cutting edge research students. So, I should outcome PEO, program educational outcome, should be written at that level. Now, Institute B want to have a program on mechanical, chemical and civil, but they want to produce a manpower for particular industry I, then their mechanical PEO will be not same as this. Unless you can say that okay, MHRD can produce a PO and which will be copied by every institute and that is the PO of every institute. It is not true. Every institute has its own purpose. So, if the institute A purpose to produce for research student, institute B is not producing a research students. They are preparing the manpower for industry. And that depends on their infrastructure, their resources, their faculties and their intake. I can give an example. Somebody may say, I will follow the MIT syllabus, and if you follow Institute A is follow the syllabus of MIT, is Institute A becomes MIT? Not at all. So, it depends on what is your resources, what is your intake and what kinds of things you want to produce, that decide by the institute based on its purpose. So, then PO of Institute A which produce a research engineer is not PO of same mechanical engineering, is not same. So, I cannot say I have copied the syllabus of mechanical engineering of IIT and Institute B also becomes IIT. It is not true. Even if same research students, so suppose Institute A and Institute C also producing the research cutting edge research student of mechanical engineering, then also their mechanical engineering PO may be different. Because this institute may be very good in heat transfer, this institute may be very good in automobile. So, PO will be depends on expertise of the institute, on the available resources of the institute. I do not write PO which is not achievable due to the resource constraint, due to the student intake. If it is like that, then I cannot attain that PO. So, mission and vision statement and PO should be, that is why will be different from different institute. It is not same and it should not be same. If it is same, then MHRD can say this is the PO for all computer science department of whole India, and everybody has to produce a students who will be doing research. It is not possible, because every institute is set up based on his own mandate. So, suppose a institute B is opened at Gujarat to supply manpower for all chemical factories, then Institute B's PO of chemical engineering should not be producing a cutting edge research students. I want to produce a manpower who will be employable within that industry. So, that is the difference between the PO of different institute, mission and vision, but unfortunately whatever the mission vision statement I have found in many institutes, all are almost same. But mission, vision and PO all are related. The mission vision will state that purpose of the institute. Once the purpose of the institute is fixed based on his resources and its faculty strength, then we write down PO, which will meet the mission and vision statement. Okay. All definition is given in the slides. You can go through the slide, what is mission, what is vision, all theoretical definition is given. So, I am explaining those things. So, up to PO is done, program educational outcome, PEO, program educational outcome. So, I will say that I will develop skill A, skill B, skill C, skill D, which is required for high end research. And institute B may say, I will develop skill I, skill J, skill K, which is required for industry I. Now, how we develop this PEO, this program outcome, how it is related, how we will develop those skills, and which level, what levels of proficiency. So, industry said the bachelor's engineer is not employable. That means, we do not know what kind of proficiency level is industry want. Now, if we see that purpose for accreditation is now come into the picture. The purpose for accreditation is that to measure the quality of education, or we can say not only measure, but also fix the minimum quality required for a BE engineer. So, I may be produce a engineer for industry I, or I may be produce a engineer for high end research, but minimum skill level is not that student will able to describe or define. The student will able to solve complex engineering problem. The levels of complexity in here is very high, but here complexity level is low, but cognitive level is they have to solve that engineering problem. So, if it is a high end research, complex engineering problem, so the complexity will be very high. If it is not that high end research I want for a particular industry, so the complexity will be less, but the cognitive level will be solve complex engineering problem. So, I cannot say here I write only they will be able to describe, here I write only they will be able to describe and define, and here I write design. Both are design, but the level of complexity will be different depending on your PEO requirement. So, that is why that NBA or Washington Records define the PO, the level, the skill level which is cognitive level which is required for a BE engineer, domain dependent and domain independent. Then if it is domain dependent, then if it is electronics, then it is called PSO, program specific outcome, and domain independent are will be same as copy. So, a graduate engineer must have those skills, and those skills will be developed under this program which is PO is written, and this skill will be developed which will scatter to program educational outcome. So, if I say my program will produce an engineer for chemical industry like this, so all my solve, design, all kinds of problem should be scattered to those industry only. Okay? Unless you can say, okay, Government of India, we write down that document and give it to everybody and practice it, and I am producing same engineer to everybody. Is it required? Then why should I, so many institute is required, so many geographical location? Because every institute has its own purpose. So, the purpose must be met and purpose must be defined. So, once I write down that PSO, which is program specific outcome, if it is adopted for electronics, then it is BE electronics or BTech electronics, then it is PSO for electronics engineering. And that PSO will be developed by which? By offering the different courses. So, that is called course outcome. So, if I say electronics, that one of the PSO is said that my engineer will be able to design a push-pull amplifier for a given this kind of specification, and they will be able to design this amplifier, push-pull amplifier, this kind of amplifier, this kind of amplifier up to this level, then I should have a course which will taught that design. So, course outcome matched with PSO and domain independent PO, and PO mapped with PEO. PEO is the summarized version of the PO, because PO said that whether I am producing a engineer for high end research or for industry employee. That is why if I say a course, the course, let us a simple course on thermodynamics, which is taught in IIT, may not be applicable to Institute B, because the mandate, if the course is taught in IIT level, then the mandate of the course is to produce high end researchers. So, the coverage of the course of IIT level should not be same as the course at Institute B, because Institute B want to produce an engineer for industry I. So, the same course is not applicable here. So, that is why if I copy the syllabus from some institute to Institute B do not becomes IIT. So, every institute make its own PO based on its resources, on intake and its purpose and the level of the course. So, unless you can say the computer science, all the courses outcome must be written by IIT professor and everybody will copy that things and that will be taught. It is not true, because the same name, title of the course may be same, thermodynamics taught in Institute A and thermodynamics taught in Institute B will be different PO, the different CO, course outcome, because the requirement of the course outcome depends on Institute PO, which is written by as a PSO. So, Institute A and Institute B course name may be same, but the same course is not applicable. So, that is why if I say, now again I come to the complex questions, that is called credit transfer. Suppose I want to transfer the credit, suppose some course is taught by some IIT faculty and it is in IIT level. If I say the same thermodynamic course has to be taught by taken by the Institute B, it may be wrong, because I do not want this course. The level of this course is to produce high end researchers. So, coverage, depth may be different requirement from mine. So, the credit transfer only possible if I say the course outcome of this course and my course outcome are same. So, if the course outcome of course taught in Institute A is same as the course outcome required by a Institute B, then I can say credit transfer is possible, unless course is not fit for my program structure. So, if it is scientifically I want to design the course that will come down in outcome base. Somebody asks that whether the chemistry should be taught to the computer scientist or not. My answer is very simple. If none of the PO or PSO said that the outcome of the chemistry course is required, then I should not choose the chemistry course. So, the course which I required for the program, it depends on PO and PSO, or PSO lead to PO. So, PSO. So, what kind of expertise I want to build on the students for program A, that will define what are the courses is required. It is not defined by the expert. So, if institute A said that I want to produce a engineer who will be employed, suppose institute A has a course on computer science, and they want to produce an engineer who will be employable in TCS, Infosys, IBM, and who will be mainly working in the application software development. So, the PO and PSO, PO should be meet this and PSO should be to develop the skill which is required by those company. And this, once I define the PSO, then I know what kind of course is required, CO is required. So, the requirement of courses, what course I taught, is not defined by some structure, it defined by the outcome, what kind of expertise, what kind of skill I want to produce on the students. There is a some called domain dependent skill, some called domain independent skill. So, domain independent skill will be developed by every courses. So, domain dependent skill I require courses. Some specific domain dependent skill may require additional courses, but most of the domain independent skill will be met from teaching learning process. So, my PSO, program specific outcome, domain dependent and domain independent part will be fulfilled by offering different courses with an appropriate teaching learning process. Only offering the course will not fulfill all my PSO. So, it requires both courses and teaching learning process. Example, suppose I want to develop the communication skill. Can it be done by a simple course called English for Communication? Not at all. You cannot develop the communication skill which is required by a NBA and Washington records by simply offering a course on English for Communication. It requires that with every courses, every domain dependent courses which will be taught in entire program should follow a teaching learning process which partially fulfill the development of communication power. So, all domain like lifelong learning, can I give a course on lifelong learning? Not at all. So, it will be developed by every domain dependent courses and based on the teaching learning process. Ethics, can I teach ethics by a simple course? As by my explanation, if you see in the effective domains of learning, ethics is an effective domain of learning. So, only receiving information is sufficient for development of the ethics. So, every course, domain dependent course of the program must be contribute to the ethics. So, the ethics engineering ethics will be developed. So, this is the requirement. So, how do I do that? That PO, PSO, CO course outcome. So, I will explain how you develop your course, which not only provide that it should map with your PSO, but also it will help to develop domain independent skill also. So, teaching learning process and course outcome together mapped with PO, program outcome, and you know how to write each and every outcome, because it should be used ISD, instructional system design, by which I can make every outcome specific, measurable and achievable. Okay? So, next class we will start from here. Okay? Thank you.